My button on the top right button on the.
Mine says off air. Oh, live. There we go.
That's a bad sign. Okay. So today we are traveling all the way to Powell River for the Coffee Friends number 16, I believe it is. We have Margot and
Nathan.
Can you hear me?
Jantz.
Nathan
I can.
There you go.
Yeah, Nathan
Okay,
Jantz.
good.
Margot and Nathan Jantz. That's right.
Fantastic. And Eldrick nominated you guys. So why Powell River? Tell us what you do, who you are, how you got there.
All right. Well, we got here about 4 years ago. We run a coffee company now called 32 Lakes Coffee Roasters. We've been doing it for just over 2 years now, and kind of we used to both live in Vancouver, North Vancouver, and we're pretty into the coffee scene there. You can hear our baby in the background there. We don't have much options right now, we were into the coffee scene up there, and then we got married and knew that we wanted to have a family, and we were looking for space that was maybe a little bit more affordable and still beautiful, and we traveled around kind of the coastal areas of BC and came across Powell River, and there was a really awesome community, and housing prices are really affordable, and there's a good food scene here, and it kind of resonated with us right away. So we decided to pack up the family and move on up.
Wow.
And then,
okay.
Yeah.
Great. It's right up on. Is it off the Sunshine Coast, or how do you get there?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's on Vancouver Island, but we're 2 ferries up from Horseshoe Bay. So there's the lower Sunshine Coast where Seashell Gibson's is, and then we're just across from Comox on the island, but we're on the mainland.
Yeah. So one more ferry up. Like if you go from Gibson's, you just keep driving up along the coast until you hit Earls Cove, and Earls Cove is another 45-minute ferry, and that takes you over another inlet, and then it's about a 20-minute drive up to Powell River. So all told, it's about from Horseshoe Bay, it's about a 5-hour trip with 2 ferries and about an hour drive in between there. So it takes effort to get to the city, but it's
maybe
kind of
that's
nice
how you want it to be, right? It sounds beautiful
Absolutely.
up there.
We
were up near Seashell this Christmas, and we loved it. So I can imagine if you just keep on going up, it just keeps on getting better.
I would agree with that. Definitely.
Fantastic. So you're from Saskatoon yourself, and Saskatoon and North Vancouver. So tell us about how the coffee scene is up there. And I mean, you're roasting right in Powell River. How do you get your coffee?
We go through the same means as most companies. Imagine we work with a couple of different high quality importers of green beans, and it's very nice community focus up here. We actually we'll bring our beans in from typically California, and sometimes the East Coast if we need to, but mostly California. And we have it stored sometimes in the warehouses in Vancouver for a while for us, and then typically whenever we need coffee, our friends we have a local craft brewery in town here called Townside Brewing, and they make trips down to the city, and they'll oftentimes pick up our green beans for us and bring them back up. And otherwise,
that's an awesome relationship.
It is for sure. Between us and again, another friend of ours is Rain Coast Kombucha. We have a little craft kombucha company up here, and they deliver down to Vancouver all the time also. So Eldrick, we just sent some coffee to Abaid yesterday, and our kombucha friends took it down and dropped it off for us. So it's
that's awesome.
Everybody out here really supports each other. Yeah, it's awesome.
It sounds like a really great community that you have there, because you kind of are able to rely on each other and work together. There's not like there's a real collaborative spirit there. Um,
For
so,
Yeah.
so how did you learn to roast, and how do you get like tell me the steps of like getting a roaster out to Powell River, like.
God, I don't know how far into the story I want to get, but essentially, we roasted at home for excuse us. We roasted at home for a couple of years. We started by just doing like the home roaster thing. We had a friend in town in Powell River when I first moved up. I guess like the thing that we missed when we moved up here was kind of the light roasted high-end specialty coffee. There is another roaster up here, and they have their own cafe and have like a great local following, and it is not the light roasted specialty stuff that we were really getting used to back in Vancouver, and so we started we'd buy coffee, lots of coffee whenever we were in Vancouver and bring it up. And from there, kind of learned more about the roasting aspect. Met a guy in town here who was roasting his own coffee on a machine that he made from, it's like an infrared oven that's a lid, and you place it on top of a little stainless bowl, and it spins on an old bread machine, and it's got a little like wand that spins around. And so that's how we kind of like started roasting and bringing in green beans. And from there, we tried other different equipment, and eventually did it through research. We decided on Probat for like going forward with our company, and searched for that for quite a while. Ended up getting something down in California from an independent roaster, and from there we sent it to another guy in California. His name's Boyd Gildner, and he owns a company called Renegade Roasters, and he builds his own machines. And so we asked him to do a few upgrades to our machine. So he like installed temperature probes and a gas control system for us, and eventually we had that once it was all done, sent up to Powell River. And then, kind of waited for 5 months to get our ventilation and everything approved and installed. So that was a bit of a delay. I heard you talking to another roaster on here, and we had a probably similar struggle to them.
I think it's pretty similar to everybody. I mean, like once you get you have to wait for the gas hookup. You need ventilation. Depending on the roaster. And I mean, a lot of people buy roasters that are quite old, so there's repairs and all the different changes you want to do to it, the maintenance, and then you have to wait for it to get to you.
For sure.
We had 3 sets of ventilation that we ended up having to buy.
Yeah.
And but I think the saving grace, Nathan kind of touched on it, is the people that we worked with throughout that process that just supported us, and even like the smallest things all the way up to like Boyd, who flew all the way up here and helped us out, because we had to get some work done once the roaster was installed. But I just going in and talking to roasters around BC while we were going through that, and just getting the support, that got us through it. That was huge. And also, Nathan's got a master's of science degree, so he's all about the science of roasting. And I think
all
that's
geeky with physics and thermodynamics. I don't know.
Keeps you interested in the coffee. Like every single time you get a new bean, it definitely requires a lot of research. Yeah, we just recently picked up a machine from Boyd, a little 1 pound roaster, so we're able to do a lot more experimenting on all of our roasts and kind of get the exact profile we want with a little less damage to our green bean inventory.
Just going in at like kilos at a time, like 20 kilos at a time, right?
Yeah,
Oh
it
well,
adds
we'll
up.
offload this to somebody.
Yeah, we should.
Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, it'd be really nice if somebody had like some kind of algorithm, if you could just find the density of the bean and map it to like maybe geography and be like, okay, well this is the ideal, uh, you know.
For sure. And it's
This
happening,
is
but
me
then
talking
even
about
like,
something I know nothing about. So
well, I mean,
there you go.
I think that there is like some validity to that, but at the same time, then between like every single person's machine is gonna react a little bit different to it. Like I know a big difference between like the two machines that I have now. Yeah, it's tricky to have something that's across the board for everybody, but it's nice to be able to practice, experiment.
So Margot, how is it when you guys had moved up and brought the roaster? How long did it take for you guys to get roasting? You said 5 months.
It was a long time. Our roaster got dropped when it was being delivered, and we had to get some work done,
Oh
and then
no.
also
Okay, well fast forward to today.
yeah.
Hello.
Things are going much better. But yeah, it was tricky. I mean, we're going from being really stoked on roasting coffee for ourselves when we were doing it at home, and feeling like, because with Nathan's background, that we're really starting to learn a lot about roasting, and then jumping into it as a business, it's such another world. So we've always maintained that passion for what coffee can be for us, in terms of I'm really inspired by being connected to the people around the world that are contributing to awesome coffee, and getting more involved in the community and the full circle of coffee, and then Nathan with the science of it. I appreciate the science of it. I'm just not as knowledgeable about the science of it.
Well, it takes a complete team of science brains and all the skill sets, right? So I think without you we couldn't go forward really.
Totally.
Because
Totally.
we kind of work together. So
I totally agree. Yeah.
I have a question. So how do you're a little bit further up the coast. We hear this a lot from people on the island. There's a different like culture altogether. Like they have their own coffee culture. And how do we engage like in the bigger BC conversation, or how can people in Vancouver access your coffee, or what's the best way?
The best way to access our coffee right now, well, I mean, there's a few spots where you can pick up, but probably the best is through our web store, and making a trip up here this summer, because we're planning on being able to do coffee service. Right now, we only focus on just like the wholesale aspect, and we've been like working farmers markets over the summer for the past 2 years, but this year over the summer, the plan is a pop-up shop, and then come in the new year, there's this old like early 1900s mall that's being stripped down to its like beams, and is going to be renovated in a really beautiful way, and we're grabbing a spot in there, and we're going to be like having like a roaster cafe there. So that will be in the new year.
So you're looking to open a cafe so people can come and enjoy the coffee.
Yeah, it's well, we needed the space just to be storing our green beans, as well as I find the specialty coffee, because we're kind of, I guess, the first ones doing that lighter roast, where we're really trying to honor single origins, and it's just kind of new, I guess, to the community.
How is it being received? And I'd just like to point out that we've had our youngest coffee friend on Coffee Friends today. That's, our first. I like to celebrate first. So we get. Hello, hi, buddy. They just keep getting younger and younger, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
Impart your wisdom about, making friends and stuff. Impart that on us, please. Yeah, so how has the community received a lighter roast, different style of coffee roasting, and I mean, like coffee service when you get up and going? Like, I think it'd be something that those communities haven't seen yet,
Right.
unless they travel outside.
Right, and I think that that's the big thing is our main clientele right now is like we have a lot of families that are coming up from Vancouver and Ontario, and yeah, baby, I'm just talking right now. Sorry, just give me 1 second.
You can come on too.
Yeah, so lots of people that are coming into town that have experienced that before and are looking for something like that. That would be our main clientele that is interested in our like single origin line. We've kind of branded ourselves in having like 2 different lines of coffee. So we have something called our like feature line, which is all of our single origin offerings, and we're doing them in like smaller sizes, like 250 grams. And then we have our signature line, which is like a few different blends, including a dark roast and a decaf. And those are things that we're pushing more in. Like we have a couple of grocery stores that are carrying our coffee, and that is providing like a nice base for us that is allowing us to experiment a little bit more into the single origin. So I would say the majority of our sales right now are with our like blends and everything, and I think that people need to experience the specialty coffee and the service and the flavors and have like the conversations, and before they're gonna commit to something that's at like a higher price point. And yeah, we're right now our only way of selling has been just like on different store shelves. So for people to go and look at packaging and not really know why a coffee costs more, yeah, they need to experience it. I'm sure everybody's got their like, first coffee flavor experience that kind of changed their mind, and I think that that's what we want to give to people, and we're looking forward to being able to, provide that service for sure.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's something really, that I think excites a lot of people in specialty, is fostering that experience for other people. The taste experience really excites me, talking about, helping people that maybe haven't had that experience, seeing the epiphany moment, taste epiphany
Right.
is what I call it. But
yeah.
Yeah, cool. What are you reading and what are you drinking right now? We can actually leave that below in the blog as well. You can let me know that.
Okay. Yeah. In terms, I mean, we're reading Greek Game of Thrones right now, but
yeah, sure, that's fine too.
When we're not playing Catan.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, we were just playing Settlers of Catan on here on Hangouts 5 minutes before we got on live. So
Totally.
join us again if you want to. So who is your coffee friend nomination for the next coffee friend?
Our coffee friend that we want to nominate is a gentleman named Simon. He runs a company called Red Tree Coffee over on Vancouver Island in Courtenay, and he
Simon
Fogg and his wife as well, and he has his own roaster. He has a cafe, and he has a little, I guess you'd call it like a coffee hut almost, over in Courtenay, and they were one of the first kind of specialty coffee connections that we made over on the island. And yeah, I don't know. We think he's doing a really good job, and they're a growing business, and
a young family,
yeah,
like ourselves.
We relate.
Common challenges. That's what makes it easier.
For sure. Yeah, they got their start with an espresso cart, and we got a little bit more connected to them last year because over the summer we rented their espresso cart from them because they weren't using it last summer, and that's what we took to the farmers market. So yeah, it was kind of cool to like share that equipment and the experiences with them.
That's really cool that like I know sometimes there's sometimes a conversation of like it's very uh, secretive, the roaster community. They don't like to share a lot, and so it's kind of heartwarming to hear that they're willing to share like equipment and their story and their challenges with you. So I
For
appreciate
sure.
you and them
Yeah.
sharing with you.
Yeah, I definitely see that being more like the future of coffee, and look forward to like sharing those experiences more for sure.
Sounds amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. We will get off air now.
Right on.
So that's Coffee Friends. Don't forget to give us a follow on YouTube. Okay, cool.
Cool.
I'll
Thank
get
you.
offline now.
Okay.